Ready?
Yep.
All right.
Sweet.
All right. Do you want to go first, or I can ask you questions first?
Either way, matter to me.
Oh, I have to request record permission from you.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead whenever you need to, because mine's recording.
Yeah, mine's just stopping me and says, please request record permission from the meeting host. And then,
That's
is anything popping up?
no, like I would totally give you permission. Let's
I
see.
know.
Let me see where the permissions are at.
Okay.
Video settings, participants. Oh, hold on. Oh, bam! You should have
Got it?
permission. Did you get it?
Cool. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
We're good. All
So
right.
yeah, I found where it's at. If you're ever looking for it, go underneath, if you're the host, go underneath manage participants. And then it'll say something about like, if they're allowed to have whatever, you just have to click on the extra thing and it said
Oh, I
allow
see.
record. Yeah,
Okay,
I've
cool.
never had to do it because we don't record our sessions at work. So
That's good for future reference.
yeah, absolutely. When we're giving these type of assignments, yay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I'll ask you questions first.
Okay.
That's cool. And so there's 4. So yeah, what made you want to go back to school and to get your BSN?
For my BSN, it doesn't really help in the current position I'm in, but I do want to go back and get my master's and become a psych nurse practitioner. So that's my goal. That's the dream right now. So
I've actually thought about that because I'm working in a behavioral health facility right now, and I've met a few NPs, and I find it all fascinating. So that's cool.
And I work with a lot of telepsych psychiatrists. I've done psych in the past. I'm a correctional nurse now. I've been a correctional nurse for years, and psych is where it's at. I love it. I'm that fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. You know, I'm not trying to just take your vital signs and move along.
Right.
So I like the excitement. I like everything about it. So I'm ready to do telepsych from a beach, you know, somewhere away, and be able to have the opportunity to travel and still, you know, maintain a career.
So you could do like full time, like from anywhere in the world, and
absolutely.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah. So I want to go and do like mission work, so that would help me at least do like the hands-on stuff that, you know, I've got into nursing to do, but then still maintain that American paycheck to finance my travels.
I know. So where do you want to travel?
I'm not, it's endless. It's unlimited. I have passport, will go, you know, as long as I have the money and, you know, and I have the passport and I have the visa, I'm game for anything. I don't scare easy. I'm like, let's go, go.
Yeah. My wife really wants to go to Greece right now, and so I feel like that's the next place we go.
That would be awesome. My kids have been asking me for that. So we actually talked about that whenever my son graduates from high school, is that might be his graduation gift, because he was like, well, you know, Ma, they're going there for the senior trip plus other places in Europe. And I was like, well, then it looks like you need a chaperone. And he goes, yeah, why don't we just go on our own?
You're like, no, you need me. You need me to go.
Yeah, no, and he was just saying, you know, we don't have to go with the whole group. How about we just go as a family? I was like, I am all about it. That way I don't have to deal with it.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, what a great trip.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, well, that's cool. And then so like, what do you expect to learn from this year-long or however long process?
What do I expect to learn?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. My expectations aren't, I haven't really put them out there yet. You know, I know I'm kind of like this lifelong learner. I don't believe that I know everything there is to do about nursing or about leadership. Had a whole lot of roles. I actually graduated and got my RN in 2010. So I've had some experience underneath my belt since then, obviously. But so I don't know. I don't know what my expectation is, but I'm sure there is a lot for me to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so like, what do you want to do after you get your bachelor's?
It's straight into my master's. Straight into it. Like it's
the same for me.
Yeah, full force ahead. I took too long off. My husband, when we moved here to Fort Hood,
Yeah.
I had, just taken that time for the transition, and then what happens? Life happens,
Yeah.
and you get into positions, especially with me when I was an administrator for the jail for over medical and mental health, and it was very demanding. I
Mm.
just stepped down probably about a year ago, went back to floor nursing, and I knew that that was my opportunity to have the time to further my education.
Yeah.
Um,
Was that difficult to transition from like administrative or like management down to like floor nursing again? How was
Well,
it?
I think it wasn't as difficult, I guess, for me
Yeah.
in an aspect from a financial standpoint. I didn't lose any money. I was able to negotiate that pretty well.
Nice.
Um, and it was nice. I'm not on call anymore. I don't
Mhm.
have to worry about staffing. If I want to answer my phone, I can answer my phone. If I don't want
Yeah.
to, meh.
Well, it
Um,
sounds like that's actually took a step up, is what it really sounds like.
exactly. I was able to prioritize my family better
Yeah.
um,
Awesome.
than before. The only hard part is been dealing with the people that took over my old position
Hmm.
because I know how things are supposed to be done. I did the
Yeah.
job for over 3 years,
Yeah.
and I have expectations of people
Hmm.
to do things the right way. And so it hasn't always been done that way. So that's
Yeah.
the hard part, is just kind of stepping back and watching some things crumble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so
You gotta let
that's
them
the hard
fail though, right? You gotta let them.
exactly. Oh, and they're doing a darn good
Yeah.
job at that.
Have they like asked you for help or like maybe not help, but like, hey, how did you do this?
Well,
And
right.
what do you
And
suggest?
I'm all about that. I don't believe in nurses eating their young, or in
Right.
my
Right.
case, this young nurse eating the old one,
Right.
because the woman who's in my position now, my old position, is older.
Hmm.
Um, but she doesn't. If she reached out for help, I'd be more than happy to.
Hmm.
I don't believe in withholding information or
Right.
withholding knowledge.
Right.
We
But you
can.
don't want to step on her feet either and
Right.
try to make
Well,
her
and
feel
my thing is that
right.
she will not humble herself and even ask.
Yeah.
So I've tried to step back and pick my battles when it comes, though, to patient safety and to staff and things like that. I'll do it in a side note. I'm not going to do it in public. I'll
Right.
do it on a side note saying, hey, has this changed? Because I remember the policy was such and such.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or this might be a, a recommendation,
Right.
that I might have. She's not exactly that receptive. So,
Right.
meh.
Well, it's nice that you're kind of like feeling it out and like you can tell how certain people are. You're very
Yeah, I try to be,
what's the word? I forget. Anyways.
I'll use perceptive,
Yeah,
observant,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. There you go. I
Yeah,
think that's a good quality to have. And then so you kind of mentioned. So the last question is like, do you have prior experience with Zoom? And you kind of mentioned that
I
already.
do.
Okay. So
We
with
use
this
it,
job now, or like your
yeah, my
previous?
job now,
Okay.
and even as the administrator, because of the lack of psychiatric providers in our area and just across the board as it is,
Mm-hmm.
telemedicine and telepsych are huge.
Mm-hmm.
And Zoom is something that my company actually uses so that it's HIPAA compliant.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're able to, our psychiatrist that we use at the one facility is actually located in Kentucky, and she's licensed out of Texas. So we use Zoom for that. I just used it the past 2 days so that, I had 10 patients that need to be seen via telepsych.
Wow. Dang,
So it was
so
one of those
cool.
things that we can make things happen very, very quickly.
I didn't know it
So
was HIPAA
that's one.
compliant. That's really nice.
Yeah, yeah. And that's
Wow.
what we don't record our sessions with psychiatry
Uh-huh.
just for that. But, there has to be consent forms and things like that that are done. But it's a secure platform.
That's good
So,
to know. It's
yeah.
definitely like it's nice that we're having this conversation because I'm like you've got me thinking about things that I haven't like considered before
Yeah.
since I'm a brand new nurse, you know.
Really, when did you
Like
graduate?
I graduated in November of last year, so like I'm like brand new. And I think like in school they kind of like have everyone going towards like med surge in a hospital, you know.
Yeah. And that's not
And
where everybody has
there's
to
so many
start.
options. Yeah.
There is. And that's the one thing I remember when I graduated, it was one of those things where everybody just threw out their resume and prayed to God, somebody bit.
Please. Yeah.
Please, like, okay, you want, there's this huge nursing shortage, but everybody wants a year of experience. Well,
Yeah.
where are you going to get that experience? Unless you get with an internship or something like that, there's not a lot of places that, or if you have an in, it's kind of hard.
It is. Yeah.
And my first position ever was in a behavioral health facility.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't something that I really thought about. It was one of those, great, this is a job,
Yeah.
like, let me
Exactly.
do this. But we had, it actually turned into something that I've been doing for years now. And I love it. I couldn't imagine anything different. I've done different things and haven't enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine working in a hospital floor. Like
I know.
I did telemetry and I'm like, oh no.
Nope, I'm good. I'll
I'm
keep
good,
doing
exactly. I was like, I only did that so I could get to the ER, like
Yeah.
I need, there's a place for everybody.
Yeah.
And my personality is not going to fit in telemetry. It's not going to
Right.
fit in med surg. But doing correctional nursing has been something that gave me, because everybody said, oh, I'm sure you've heard this, you're going to lose your skills
Oh,
going
that's what I've
into
heard. Yeah.
mental health or into psych. No, you're not. No, you're
Yeah.
not. That's a skill in itself.
Right. Right.
Just being able to, mental health is such a big part of it, and not everybody can do it. It's so different. So if you go into anything, I suggest look into correctional nursing.
I have a friend who went straight into that after we graduated, and he was like,
amazing.
"It's great. Why don't?" He was like trying
amazing,
to convince everybody
especially
to go.
yeah. If you have the mindset to embrace psychiatric nursing, and you still want hands-on skills, you're fly by the seat of your pants kind of person. You can go from, I go from public health nursing to trauma nurse in like that.
That's
wow. It's great.
I might have to give it a try just to see, like, maybe like go shadow before I like commit.
Well, my thing is, like, if you don't scare easy, you said you were in the military, you don't scare easy. There's a lot of veterans. I work with a lot of veterans. I do a lot of stuff with PTSD. I actually help with a PTSD kind of recovery group and things like that. And it's a great place to start. Wow. It is an amazing thing if somebody can understand that mindset and has that background. How much more do you respect somebody who's trying to help you that's been there? True. So it's definitely, I can't say enough about correctional nursing. But
where I'm at now, like it's a unique population. It's behavioral health, but it's like with eating disorders. So it's like it affects a lot of different people, but it's still something like I feel like I can relate to them, So because there's a lot of trauma involved in PTSD, like you mentioned, and it's not all just like these folks. It's not just the eating disorder. It's like other things that kind of like lead them to that disorder.
Absolutely, that's just how it manifests.
Yeah.
So, you do adults or you do juveniles?
So I am in my last week of training, and I've trained with adults up to this point, and then tonight I'm going to be with children. Okay. So I'm excited and nervous at the same time. Yeah. Because like I think the youngest is like a 7-year-old or 8-year-old up to 17 years old. So it'll be interesting. I think I'll like it though. Like I'm always nervous, and then I get there and I'm like, oh, I feel like right at home, and so, yeah.
Isn't it great when you feel right at home in a mental health facility?
I know. It's like I'm meant to be there or something.
That's me. Like I'm just like I just walk in and I don't flinch. I don't, anything. I'm just like, oh, okay. You're doing that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. People are like, oh my God, I can't believe you work there. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that you shop at Walmart. It's the same people. Yeah. It's the same stuff.
It is.
And so it's not for everybody. So, it's good to know that there's somebody else who's just as crazy as I am to go into, places like that.
Well, whenever I'm at work and we're having meetings and we're like, like, oh, they're crazy. It's like, well, we're all crazy, aren't we? So.
Exactly. We always say that we have to have a little bit of crazy to be able to do what we do and enjoy it and come back again,
Exactly.
So what are you thinking about getting out of your BSN?
So I kind of made a joke about it, and the joke is I'm learning how to write an APA format really well.
High five.
Um,
High
other,
five. I'm not
other
mad
than
at you
that,
for that.
yeah, my expectations are like yours. Like I just, there's pressure from like wherever you go now, like to get your bachelor's.
Yeah.
Like in almost every single interview, they're like, "Oh, are you planning on getting your bachelor's in
I'm like,
nursing?"
oh, are you planning on paying me more?
Yeah, yeah. I should have asked that.
You should have.
Yeah, and so it's like the pressure's there, but then also like I want to continue my education and
Yeah.
to get my master's. So,
Well,
um,
you never know. Hey, we can go into partnership and we can go, psych MP, telepsych
yeah,
from around the world.
I'd be all
Ready to go.
about that. That would be
I'm
really
all
cool.
about it. Trust me, I'm
Yeah.
all about it. I always, my joke is that I'll be doing telepsych from a beach and a patient's gonna be like, are those birds? I'm like, what are you talking about?
What? What?
What birds? I don't hear birds.
Yeah. And you hear like waves crashing. What is
Yeah.
that?
And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm in
That's
my
my
office.
sound maker.
They're like,
Yeah.
where are you? In my office.
Yeah. With one of those like therapeutic like sound machines,
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Yep. It'd be
Yeah.
great though.
But like after this, I don't know. I don't have any plans. Just
Yeah.
keep going. And like in an interview, they're like, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" A very generic question. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like as long as I'm learning and growing and I'm happy, that's where I want to be.
Yeah. And
And
that's
they're like,
kind of,
"Oh, okay."
yeah. I totally understand that because it's
Yeah.
one of those things. It's like, yeah, I still plan on being a nurse if
Yeah.
that's what you want to
Exactly.
know. I still
Exactly.
plan on being a nurse. I
Mhm.
don't plan on being in front of a classroom and teaching. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not my end goal. No thanks.
Mhm. Yeah.
I still plan on working with patients, in
Mhm.
some means,
Yeah.
however it may be.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's nice. Like you have what, 10 years under your belt?
oh my
9 years?
gosh, I sound really old.
Is that
Yeah,
it?
I'm
Is
getting
that
there. Getting
so
it'll
like
be I took my NCLEX at the beginning of 2011.
okay,
So I'm right at, oh my,
9 years.
9 years. Holy
Yeah, yeah.
cow. Oh my
That's
God, I'm
nice.
getting old.
So you have a good idea of like what you want. See, like for me, I was like, I think I want to do this and this and this. So like
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
still trying to figure it out.
yeah, and that's kind of how I was too. It's kind of like, okay, what was available to me, which was the mental health thing.
Yeah.
And then kind of, as you kind of meet people and you network and you
Hmm.
hear different
Options come up.
nurses talk about things and
Yeah.
I did home health for a while on the side,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things. It's great. I think that nursing is made for people who don't know what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like, I just want to taste test it all, and then
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
let you know what I like.
Yeah. That's a
I
good
know I
I
don't
like
like
that.
telemetry. I know that, I learned a lot in home health, but I don't want to do it again. I
Yeah.
learned a lot with wound care and things like that I've taken with me, which has been great.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of wounds in jail.
Oh man, I can't imagine what that's like. To
And
me,
it's just,
like my imagination like takes me to like the worst
it
place,
does. And there
but
are
I'm
days
sure
that it's
it's not like
just
that all the
like that.
time. Oh, really?
No, it's
Okay.
not. There's days that it is the worst case scenario, and then there's days that it's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
You know, I know my number one driving force to get into nursing was to work with underserved populations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that's pretty generic. I
Yeah.
realize that. What is an underserved population?
Mhm.
And I never realized that it would take me into the jail, but it
Yeah.
made sense.
It's
I
true.
was
Very
raised in a
true.
law enforcement and military family,
Yeah.
and I was a police dispatcher for years. And so it's
Mhm.
kind of like, oh, it
Wow.
totally makes sense.
Yeah, that's
You know?
so true. And I kind of feel the same sentiment about underserved population.
Yeah. And so you don't realize they're in your back door, behind a
Yeah.
locked door. And then your kids get a really cool, thing when they get to go to their teachers and tell them, oh, can your mom make this, parent teacher conference? No, she's in jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
kids get to tell people all the
Like
time, no,
what?
my mom's in
My
jail.
mom's in jail, and they're like, "Oh, so sorry." No, no,
Yeah,
she
exactly. It shuts them up real quick.
wasn't. I think for me, like embracing my fears is what I would want to do. Like when I moved to Denver, there's a huge homeless population here, and like part of me is like you know, and a lot of people try to avoid the homeless, but my heart was like, I need to go work for the coalition,
Yeah.
you know, like get to know these people.
Yep.
Like they're just like you and I,
Yep.
you know, it's just,
Go volunteer at the free clinics.
yeah. So that's
You
what I
get to
did for
experience.
like our class, like where you have to volunteer. There's like volunteer hours. I'm going to be doing that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
I think that'll be good for everyone.
Yeah, and that's part of it. You just there's underserved populations everywhere that people don't even realize,
Hmm.
and it is about embracing your fears and just, there's people that are made for it and there's some that aren't. There's some people that are made to fund that coalition, and then there's some people that are made to be like boots on the ground.
Right. Yeah.
And so I'm, I wouldn't mind being the one who could fund it, but at the same time, I want to be the one who's boots on the ground.
Right. Yeah. Jump in there and get
Yep,
your hands dirty sort of thing.
absolutely. So what's the other questions? I asked you about what you wanted to learn out of this.
APA.
Um, in Zoom, any experience with it?
No, like last when I was in my associate's program for nursing, our
Mhm.
teacher would host Zoom sessions, but we just had to log in and watch it. We didn't have to do any recording or
Gotcha.
uploading or
No
sharing
interaction.
or yeah, so it was quite easy. But this seems really nice. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll have to keep this in mind for the future, you know, for other things going on. But that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was really nice talking to you.
You too. You too.
Yeah.
Good luck in Denver, man. I used to live
Yeah.
in Parker, and I lived in Wyoming too. So
Oh
good
man,
luck with the
beautiful.
winter time. I'm
I
tropical.
know.
I don't want it.
It's supposed to snow more tonight, and there's already like a foot and a half on the ground outside. It's
Oh my
insane.
gosh. Yeah, no, I'm not about it. Maybe I should like taunt my brothers and my sister. They all live still out there.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, my brother's actually a correctional officer he lives in Aurora. I think he works for
Oh,
Arapahoe County.
oh yeah.
Um,
Okay,
yeah, and so
that's really close to where I work. So that's
yeah, and
yeah.
then my sister, she's in Parker. And my other brother, he's out in, what is it? I don't know, somewhere way out
In
there.
Colorado.
No, he moved a little bit further out in one of the communities that's kind of like up and coming.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, probably know
There's
where I
so
want to
many
live.
of them. There's so many.
Yeah, I'm just like, go live in your tract home. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
Well,
Well,
best of luck in this program, and
thank you. You
I don't
too.
know. Yeah, I hope we all do well. I kind of struggled with the first discussion because I didn't follow like the proper formatting and like
Yeah.
replying and everything. So
Well, and
I
that
was
was me
shot
too.
myself in the foot.
So much for being the successful online learner
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
went to a women's retreat that I'd already planned on.
Uh-huh.
And I thought that I was going to have Wi-Fi connection and
Oh
everything like that.
no.
No, retreat means off the grid,
Yeah,
and being off the grid for 4 days.
yeah,
Oops.
yeah,
When you get that email that says, "Do you still want to participate in the program?"
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're like, oh shit. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't say that. My bad.
Look, I work in a jail. I'm
Yeah.
good.
All right. Well, you have a good day, and I
You
hope to talk
too.
to you again. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Take
Thanks.
care. Bye bye.
All right, you too. Bye.